With us being in the longest government shutdown in the history of the United States, these times really bring the awareness that rough times are truly ahead. Whether it starts from economic collapse, war, an EMP, a health epidemic, natural disaster, the rapture of the church, or something else entirely, that is beyond my knowledge. I just know without a shadow of a doubt that it's coming. I speak about this often in my videos, and you can go to many other channels on YouTube that speak about this as well. But while we are so great at sounding the alarm, I don't think we do a great job in helping everyone know what they can and should do to prepare themselves. So I want to take this opportunity to give you some tips and strategies on what you can do to prepare for the coming world reset. I hope this blesses you. Let's begin. Now let me just start by saying that all the prepping in the world means nothing if you do not have your faith secure in Yahshua the Messiah. If you are new to my channel, in English, his name is transliterated to Jesus Christ. If you are not a born-again believer and have not surrendered to the will of Elohim, God, then you are in store for problems, no matter how much you have prepared. The only true solution to what's coming is belief in Yahshua, making sure you truly know him and he knows you, and making sure your faith in him is not lukewarm. My channel and website are dedicated to assisting you with the understanding of all this. He is the only answer, so you must make this your number one priority. You must be a believer in Yahshua. There is no prepping and preparing without him. If you are a believer, then you should have no fear. Just believe. If you are still on the fence with him, you should have fear. It's very simple. Stop being on the fence and commit your life to him. Now, while I'm very strong in my faith and belief in him, I also believe in being prepared for anything. So there are things that should be done. I know we all have lives that we are living, and it sometimes can be very difficult to prepare for what's coming, while also keeping your head above water today in the present. Because I understand this, I won't be giving you strategies that the everyday person cannot do. I'm the everyday person, so I will only tell you things that I do myself. So let's get this out the way. Prepping is not about saving money. Don't think about saving money for this situation. Your money will not save you. I repeat, your money will not save you. Whenever the major problems occur, regardless of what it is, the United States economy will collapse, and that includes with it the United States currency, the dollar. We are in too much debt, and the Fed has printed way too much money since the Great Recession in 2008. Your money will hyperinflate. What I mean by that is everything will cost drastically more. Imagine a loaf of bread, if you can find it, costing $30 or more. If you don't fully understand or believe this could happen, look into what is happening in Venezuela as we speak. In November of last year, 2018, Venezuela's annual inflation rate is 830,000%. The IMF projects that in 2019, that rate will be over 1,000,000%. I know, it sounds crazy. Their currency, which is called the Bolivar, is basically useless. Let me help you picture it. A chicken that would cost $2.22 in US dollars will cost 14.6 million bolivars. One roll of toilet paper, which would cost 40 cents in US currency, would be 2.6 million bolivars. This is a change that has happened over just 2 years since their economic collapse. In 2015, 15 US dollars would have gotten you 100 Venezuela bolivars. Now, 1 US dollar would give you 6.5 million bolivars. Their money has no buying power. Their currency is useless. Now, this is just a dry run of what will happen with the United States dollar. I've spoken about this in other videos that will be linked in the description of this video. I've also put them in a playlist for you so you can understand why I say all of this. But this is what will happen to the United States dollar, and it will affect every other currency in the world as well. So don't think that just because you're not in the United States, it will not affect you. You are incorrect. It will affect everyone. Some countries worse than others, that's all. The countries that have been moving away from the dollar will be better positioned to handle what's coming than all the other countries that are dependent upon it. But everyone on this earth will be affected. My point to you is that your money will not mean a thing. Saving for the storm in United States dollars will not mean anything. If your money is held in banks, you will never see it anyway. If the bank goes down, which a majority of them will, they will keep your money. I always use a saying that you should remember. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. If you want to understand more on your own, research bank runs and what happens in these type of situations. Anyways, saving money is not your answer. This should make many of you feel a little relieved. Because if you're like me, you're probably saying, good, because I don't have any money to save anyway. Now, if you do have money and assets, you should buy gold and silver. This is the only thing that will always have some type of value. Scripture tells us that in the end times, people will throw their gold in the streets. But if you have money, I would always own precious metals. Now, for people who question about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, yes, I do believe that this will be the currency of the future, and many people are placing their money in this now as their hedge against the dollar. I do believe that it is a good investment for people, but I do not recommend it for anyone watching this, and I will tell you why. I believe that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be used in connection with the mark of the beast, the RFID chip that everyone in the world will be required to have. I do not want any of you to ever have that chip, so your survival should not depend upon using cryptocurrencies. Please watch my video about Bitcoin for more information. If you want to invest in things, the best things for you to invest in and have are things that can be bartered and traded. For example, toilet paper will be an extreme blessing for someone that did not properly prepare. And it may be that the toilet paper you saved may help fill another need you did not prepare for. My point is that supplies are always good to have, and they may end up being your currency in the future. Now let me explain the full situation. When this worldwide reset happens, everything changes. The old system goes away, and a new system is born from the ashes. This is why you always see the symbol of the phoenix. It is why they constantly place these words in movies.
Everything they built will fall! And from the ashes of their world, we'll build a better one!
What I'm trying to explain is the same rules that you apply today won't necessarily carry over when the system collapses. And just because the system collapses doesn't mean that the Great Tribulation has started. I know many people aren't preparing because they feel when this all happens, they will be raptured before trouble really hits. This could be true, but it also could not be true. You should be prepared for anything. There is nothing worse than hearing your children are hungry and you could have done something to prepare for it, but you chose not to. Understand, this type of collapse will be bad and unpredictable because it will affect everyone. There are people that have never experienced pain and financial struggles before. When it affects them, this is where you will see chaos and havoc. This is where panic happens, riots in the streets, things like this. This video is not about prepping to make it through the Great Tribulation. What I am about to tell you is advice to help get you through at least the first 6 months when disaster strikes. This is the mindset I have. I don't want any of you to be dependent on the system to survive. There is a strong majority of people in this world that think that there are only clear blue skies ahead. They think that things are only going to get better, that there are no problems ahead. They are not planning and preparing at all. When the collapse happens, they will be the first ones to run to the stores, run to the banks, fight for food and supplies. What happens is that the government will step in to help this majority. Through organizations like FEMA or the United Nations, they will come in to be everyone's savior. You then give up your rights and ability to take care of yourself and your family. This is when people go to FEMA camps and families get separated. This is what you do not want to happen. I do not want any of you to be dependent upon the government for your relief. This is my mindset. The safest place to be is in your homes and not to leave them. While everyone is running frantic and scared, trying to get supplies, trying to figure out what to do, you should be in your home, locking and securing things down. Things I would not worry about is your rent and your mortgage. When the collapse occurs, these things more than likely will not be major thoughts. And there would be too much crime for sheriffs to worry about evicting people out of their homes. Wherever you are during the collapse, you should stay. Don't follow the crowds. If you see people running one direction, run in a different one. Don't ever follow the crowd. This is how sheep get led to slaughter. So you want to be home and stay there. Now you also don't want everyone else knowing that you're there and that you have supplies, because people will rob you. So what do you need in your home? Let's cover the major needs. You need water. Lots and lots of water. For each person in your home, you should have at least 500 water bottles. That's 500 for each person. We go to Sam's Club and buy our water bottles. In Sam's, you can get a pack of 40 Zephyrhill bottles for about $5 each. You need at least 12 cases per person in your home. This will last you about 6 months if you use 3 bottles per day. So if you have a family of 4, you need 48 cases of water. You don't need to buy this all at once, obviously. Buy 2 at a time or piece it together. I mean, if you can buy it all at once, you should do so. But the point is, you need the water. Your body can go without food a lot longer than it can go without water. So make this a priority. Even if you don't have the full 12 cases per, the more you have, the better you will be. Water goes first in the stores when an emergency strikes. Ask anyone who has prepared for a hurricane or natural disaster. It does take up room, so be mindful of this and find a good place to store them. Water bottles do expire too, so we drink ours and then constantly replace the cases we use. Now, this is for drinking water, which is pretty much a no-brainer. But what many people don't think about is about the non-drinking water. You need drinking water and non-drinking water. You may need water to flush your toilets, or to bathe with, to brush your teeth. You don't want to use your good drinking water for this. I'll tell you what I do. I buy these 3-liter Zephyrhill jugs from Walmart. They are about $1 each, and I use them. After they're used, I refill every bottle with tap water and store the water away. And I mark the bottle like pulling off its label so I know that it's the non-drinking water. I just stash these away as well. This will help a great deal when water shuts down and you need to flush toilets and wash up. Again, they do take up space, so be strategic where you store them. And don't worry about expiration because you aren't drinking this water. But this strategy will come in handy, so make sure you apply it. Now that you have water, let's talk about food. This can be difficult because food is expensive and food expires. I'll tell you what I do on a budget. Understand that when all this happens, you are not looking to have 5-course dinners and extravagant meals. You are eating to survive. So to take care of this, particularly on a budget, I buy a lot of ramen noodle packs. At Sam's Club, you can buy a pack of 36 for like $4 or $5. I buy them every time I can. This will serve you well in emergencies. People also recommend buying canned tuna, chicken, and beef, but that stuff can be expensive. If you can afford it, you should buy it. But ramen noodle packs will do the same thing. I also buy Chef Boyardee cans that are around $1 each. Canned vegetables and canned beans you can buy for 50 cents at Walmart. Buy oatmeal. Quick 1-minute oatmeal. That will serve you well for breakfast and keep you full. I buy a large pack from Sam's Club for like $7. The art to this is to buy foods that have some shelf life and won't break the bank. I hear people buy actual meats that they keep in the freezer. This may help in the first few days or so, but this is not a long-term solution. When the power goes out, your food will spoil, and using a generator to keep the freezer on is a bad use of resources like gas. Buy large bags of sugar, flour, and rice as well. Buy pasta and canned or jarred sauce. That will go a long way. The thing about food is paying attention to when these foods will expire. So make sure you have a way of keeping track of this. There are a lot of apps that will allow you to track the expiration of your food. You don't have to break the bank to have food to feed your family. Now what you need to get is a butane stove and the butane fuel cartridges. They look like this. You can buy the stovetop for like $20, and the fuel cartridges come in packs of 4 for like $7 or $8, I believe. Your outdoor grill will only be good for a few days. Remember, you will not have any power, and everything in your fridge and freezer will spoil. Your electric stove will not work, and don't rely on that gas being there for your gas stoves. This little stovetop will allow you to make food every day. For 6 months, you would want at least 100 fuel cartridges. Also think about it. When power goes out and there's no more food and you're grilling outside, you're giving an invitation to your home for people to come and take your stuff. Now you have food and water. I know most people will tell you to get a generator, and maybe that might be important to you. I own a generator, but during these times, I don't think I would use mine. I don't want people to know I'm home and that I have power and supplies. It's not that you don't want to help people, but when you draw attention to your home, people will come and rob you. And also, you just don't have enough supplies to help everyone. You need to be very careful. So using things like generators, just so you can have lights or keep the fridge and freezer on, is not the best call, in my opinion. This is what the unprepared will do. You don't need power. You only need light to see. So buy yourself some kerosene lamps and kerosene bottles. Buy a lot of wicks, and this is what you will use at night. Buy some candles as well. You can never have enough of these things, and they are not expensive. You can buy the lamp for $5 at Walmart, and the kerosene for $4 a bottle. Buy a bottle every time you go to the store. They will add up quickly. Buy some wicks. It's like 5 for $1, I think. This will keep you with light, but will not draw too much attention to you. All your family should sleep in the same room and away from the window, or at least block your windows. Now, here are some miscellaneous things you want to have, but people sometimes forget about. Toilet paper. You can't have too much of this. Bleach. This will become useful for many different reasons. First aid kits. Buy the first aid kits, and then whatever comes in the kit, buy it all separately as well. Laundry detergent. Dishwashing soap. You don't need to buy the expensive stuff. Cheap will do. A manual can opener. You know how many people will buy canned goods and forget they only have an electric can opener? Don't be one of them. Bars of soap. You can't have enough of this. Toothpaste. Matches and lighters. Garbage bags. Tylenol. Flashlights and batteries. A weather radio. Any feminine products you need. Buy some and stash them. Medical mask. Hand sanitizer. These are all things I have. I know I'm forgetting stuff. Oh, board games. Have some board games and things you can play with your family like cards. Things may get boring, so if you have a way to entertain each other, it will absolutely help. I will put together a list and then place it on my website. I'll leave the link in the description. If I think of anything else, I will update the list on my site. I also recommend important photos that you may have stored on your phone and computer. You should print them out. We keep all of our memories on our devices. If things ever go dark and there is no power, you may wish you had a physical picture of your loved ones or things you really like to remember. You can print them relatively cheap at Walmart. I don't know how things will play out. I don't know what will happen. But I do believe if you are prepared for disaster, when it comes, you will have more control over your life than those that did not plan ahead. Don't put your life in the hands of the government, even if they meant well, and that's debatable. There are too many of us and very limited resources. It will not work out well. You do not want to be someone that needs to run to the stores when you hear there was a problem. Also, you don't need to share with everyone everything that you have or are doing. This is something that you keep personal with your family. Have conversations with your family on what to do in case everyone is away from home and disaster strikes. Have a plan. I know many people will say that you need a gun or firearm, and I get it. I did not forget to add this. I personally don't believe in guns, so I do not promote them. I do have knives and machetes, and I believe in those, but firearms I'm not an advocate for. But obviously, if you feel you want that type of protection, you should include that in your plan. Have a way to protect yourself and your family. People will be desperate, and there will be crime. I know this is a very heavy topic, and I in no way want to scare you, but this is the reality we all face. Many people choose to ignore the threats we face, and that may be what's right for them. But I think that that's a horrible decision. One day things are good, and the next day disaster strikes. And if you're not prepared, you can often place your lives in the hands of your enemy. One thing you must understand is that when this all happens, it's not by accident. It's a planned collapse, planned wars. They have a plan for everyone. So the reason why you need to be prepared is so that you're not a part of their plans initially. I do believe something is on the horizon. I just don't know when. I know we are all strapped for cash and money is scarce, but the things I've mentioned are not high-ticket items. It's just about a mindset change, maybe changing some priorities or what you spend your money on. I suggest you start now and buy things piece by piece. You will be surprised over time how much you have accumulated. I know many of us are on very tight budgets. Don't use that as an excuse. Do whatever you can. I don't know how much time we have, so my advice is to make this a priority now. Create a place in your home and start stashing. Now let me repeat, none of this will matter if you do not have faith in Yahshua HaMashiach. You must have a personal relationship with him and commit your life to Elohim's will. He is all that matters. If you are new to my channel, please watch my other videos and maybe they can help answer questions about him. Read your Bible every day. Seek him. Now, whatever happens, do not take any microchip. If they tell you you need this in order to be identified or in order to buy or sell, do not take it. I know this may be a very different type of video that you may be used to from me, but it was in my spirit to give some advice and tips. As things come to my head, I will update it on my site. I really hope this information helped you. Okay, thanks again for watching. If this information blessed you, please like it and share it with others. If you have not already done so, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I upload every Friday. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. As always, I would like to thank all who donate to this ministry. Your donations truly help me deliver these messages. I'm very grateful and honored by your support. Okay, thanks again everyone for watching. I love you all.